All right, we are live. Quentin, nice
I'm
to have
live.
you. Super excited. We're going to do what we always do, just have some fun, talk about growth. Today is a great day for ACE because we ended our seventh day of the collective growth experiment. And I thought it was a perfect day to launch ACE Connects podcast, and specifically with a growth minded leader like yourself. So just wanted to jump right in. We're going to optimize our time today. I know you're a super busy man. So tell the people a little bit about why you decided to start True Mix Masters.
Okay, man. If I can go back to how it all started and the origin of True Mix Masters,
Mhm.
12 years ago, I started it officially March 14th, 2014. I can remember it like yesterday. I had a customer. His name was Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill used to come to, and let me date myself and go back. Um,
You got to date
2000.
me too.
Right. 2010, I was the head bartender at the Embassy Suites in Greensboro, North Carolina. 2014, after people ask me all the time, "Hey Q, can you do our wedding at our can you bartend for our wedding? Hey Q, how do you make this drink?" I said, "You know what? I will start a business." I was thinking I would start a business, but I didn't get to it. But one of my customers said, "Hey Q, you a true mix masters. I'm gonna call you Mixmaster Q." And from there, something sparked. I said, "Ooh, I like that. Mix masters." I said, "I can train people and then I can make them mix masters." And that's how True Mix Masters came about. So that was 2014. And as of yesterday, True Mix Masters just became 12. And out
Wow.
of celebratory, we now giving a 12% discount off any services until the end of March. So, hey, trying to give back.
You said something that was magical there, and I don't want the people to miss it because as we're looking at this collective growth experiment, immediately you thought of how you could train others. So you were like, how can I compound this vision beyond myself? So tell us a little bit about how you've always had that growth mindset, that it wasn't just about you.
And so when I thought about concepts, so I could have called it Quentin Cole's bartending company.
Yeah.
People don't really buy into names as much as they concepts. So I thought about the biggest brands. You think of Apple, you think of
Mhm.
Sam. It's a cult like following. So when
Mhm.
I heard Mix Masters, I thought to myself, I can create an ecosystem and a community. So where I always thought to myself, bartending, hospitality, it really originates with me. It helped me get out of tough binds, and I thought it could help other people as well. So.
Great. So as you started this, I know you have a full team now. You do all types of events. When you're choosing to expand your business, because I know you do more than just True Mix Masters, because I know you have employees as well. When you are training your employees, how do you always go about compounding that growth beyond just yourself?
And so, a great book, and let me just stop for a second. So, let's go back to the bare bones in the beginning.
Mhm.
When we're talking or thinking of growth, it's hard to grow when you don't have the resources of knowledge to know what growth can look like within a business.
Mhm.
I was blessed to actually start doing strategic business strategy within my company in the first few years. So I think in the third year, and what this looks like. So if you're a new entrepreneur, this is something I actually recommend you doing. So this could be advice and just how you can choose growth. I started sitting down and writing out the goals of my business and then having somebody hold me accountable to those goals at the end of the year. Doing this practice over and over, I was paying for it. I eventually got it down to a science where I could do it for myself. And I read a book. This book really helped me expand through my growth periods. The E Myth Revisited. It starts speaking on how to work on your business and not in your business. Know it or not, I was working in my business and it was going okay, but I was doing it all. So it wasn't until I actually understood how to start hiring and start to operate within growth that my business started to expand.
Yeah, and you said something very powerful there. So many people, I don't even think that they realize it, that they're working in their business versus on their business. And you cannot scale and grow until you realize that. I think another piece that I realized in our interactions Q, is that you're always intentional about your relationships and compounding that. So I know that every time I hear and see something, I immediately tell you, you always are on top of it. Why is it so important for you to always show up and take the right opportunities? Every opportunity is not an opportunity, but the right opportunities and connecting to the right people.
And so you never know who's going to be your next customer, and you never know what opportunity will lead you down a path that you didn't know. So, first and foremost, anytime you give me an opportunity, I'm gonna take it like last opportunity.
And you
And
do.
so I'm gonna show up, and you know what? As the old folks say, oh, he showed up and showed out. So I would like my personality to speak for itself, and then I'm a subject matter expert in my
Mhm,
field. I understand hospitality front to back, and it goes from years of actually being in the business. So when I
mhm,
see an opportunity, and it can be small, and I have a few things that just stick out to me at the top of my head. One of my first corporate clients actually came to me because one of the biggest caterers in the city of Greensboro was Pepper Moon Catering. Pepper Moon Catering had true Mixmasters train 50 of their bartenders for Tiger Woods to come to the Wyndham. And that opportunity, I could have said no. Now, I would have probably charged more than what I charge now. But
mhm,
that opportunity opened the doors for me to get other corporate clients and
mhm,
to foster a relationship with a bigger player within the industry. So this actually helped catapult me to another level. And it was simply just actually staying in place and
mhm.
nursing that relationship, just trying to foster, see how the next league can get to the. Sometimes they will call me and say, "Hey, Q, we have an event. Can you do this?" So that opened doors. So I would say any door that can potentially be open, you want to knock on it
Yeah, you
and
do.
open the door, walk straight through.
And you want to make sure that you're leveraging it. Now, being that both of us are from the 336 from Greensboro, we know that business is not always easy. So when you hit those hard places, how do you keep going when it's difficult? Because growth is not always easy.
And so that's where I really struggled in the beginning, and even towards, if I'm gonna be full transparent now, where we are, sometimes success can actually stall you out as well. In the beginning, it was where I had to find strategically where did I want to go. Once I started doing the strategic business, what business plans. That's when I was able to outline where do I see myself going, where would I like to go. Now let's fast forward. Um, One of my goals was to hit 70,000, in revenue and sales. You can hit that. I hit that milestone within my business. I thought it was far fetched in the beginning. How do I get to 100,000?
Mm-hmm.
How do you continue to keep climbing? How do you continue to reach more clients?
Mm-hmm.
How does my customer service stay the same as when I first started versus, as I go down? So you just have to constantly keep looking for ways of improvement. And sometimes you may identify things you need to improve, but it's going to take time to do it, to implement.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of what you just described to me, I heard a lot of mindset. And you and I, when we talk often, we talk about, our big dreams that we have. And I think everybody starts with a level. And that's why here at ACE, we often talk about the staircase, the spiraling staircase, because where you start today, your end result is not a straight line ahead. You should be continuing to grow up and up and up. And as you reach that next level, the goal is how can I align myself in a better position based upon my new goals? So I hit the 70. Now I want to hit the 250,000. Now you and I are talking about the millions, right? So how do we get to that next level, right? How do you put yourselves in the right room that someone can help you get there? And the word that I always think about is leverage, right? And so you want to put yourself in a room in a position where you can leverage the audience. I was in a masterclass a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about how she had a speaking engagement and she was making 15 to 20,000 for just one speaking engagement. And she was like, but that wasn't her end goal. Her end goal was, hey, I have a room full of thousands of people. I need to figure out how can I reach this thousands of people, not this one speaking engagement. So just making sure we have that mindset. So what do you think has gotten you to that place that you start to think bigger? Because I think you and I have that conversation frequently.
And first and foremost, I just want to go back to, let me just say where my rock and my anchor lies, through Jesus Christ and just praying through God. I started to pray for creativity. Once I
Mm-hmm.
started to pray for creativity, the ideas start formulating. So I will first, hey, give thanks to God for that into insight. I'll second, then start to actually look around. What is needing? What is missing? What problem can you solve?
Right.
So true Mixmasters, we are hospitality solution.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we execute. That's the most important part. Seamless execution. So,
And I don't think you said something earlier, and I want to make sure that no one misses this. You said success can stall you. And I
mhm.
don't think that, and that was a golden nugget, and I don't want anyone to miss that. Success often stalls people because they get comfortable, right? Because they, and I think it's because what you just said, you don't have that accountability, right? Because if you have that accountability, you have somebody there that's always pushing you for better, right? And so you have to be intentional about making sure that you do that, and also intentional about the value. One thing I always tell entrepreneurs is that we have to always be upskilling ourselves and reinventing ourselves to stay relevant, right? Especially in your line of business. How do you go about doing that? How do you go about staying relevant and continually adding that value?
Man, that's a perfect segue. So when I first started this, I said, man, who do you want to be within business? True
Right.
Mix Masters, our slogan is setting a true standard in hospitality.
That's
So I
right.
constantly ask myself, what is the standard? How are we setting the standard? And what do I want the standard to look like? If I become the standard, what does the standard look like as I push forward? When I first got into hospitality, I felt like the industry was stuck in the 80s. You get a black tablecloth and a table, and now you have a makeshift bar. And they may put another table on top of that to make it look nice. So, hey, we rolled out portable lighted bars. We
Right.
got champagne walls, smoke boxes. You can name it. We provided, and we're still looking to see how we actually can improve. Just because if you think about some of the events that we may attend, that we may get booked for somebody's wedding, you want to be able to say, hey, I had a great time. I remember those guys. It was the small touch. So,
Mhm.
hey, I'm always looking to see how can we set the standard. And so that's what, hey, thrives. That's what I drive off of.
Now, we've talked a lot too about, we're talking about collective growth and compounding that growth. Now, you talked about your team. I know you absolutely have this mindset. I think a hard part for a lot of leaders is how do you replicate that wave amongst your team and your community? So, how do you make sure that your team has that same mindset?
And so I will say this is easier said than done. And so this is where, as a leader, you now have to actually start creating the roadmaps for yourself. Where do you want to go? Hey, what does your Q1 look like? What does your Q2 look like? What strategies are you trying to implement for True Mix Masters? It's a certain way that I want hospitality to look. Now, when I'm on these jobs, I'm letting my employees know, hey, this is what hey, I'm looking for. And I have to say, I've been blessed to have a great team because my team really sometimes show up and show out, and I just be like, go. They tell me what to do. I'm like, okay, okay,
Love
okay.
it.
But I will just say, having a vision of where we want to go, and I don't want to get us stuck in this is where we at just right now because I'm constantly planning on our next rollout. So as we get bigger, things will look different. So that's where you do start to have to add in the SOPs.
Mhm.
It has to start to actually understand, hey, certain things that can show up in while you out. So I give a prime example. I I won't say any names, but I was just saying an event. I seen vaping happen. And now I hate to say I don't smoke, so you know what? I didn't expect to have to say, "Hey, you can't vape at an event." But then you know what? Hey, you start realizing it's my fault because I didn't set the tone and I didn't say what can and can't happen at these events. So I won't blame the next person. That's a leadership problem. So that's where I have to address any issues that come up because I'm the face, and hey, I did start the company, but I want us to be represented in a certain light.
Mhm. So being clear on the standards, and I also heard you talk about when you talked about SOPs. I know when you and I first started talking, and Ace was kind of coaching you along the way. We talked also about having those supporting systems, right, to help you operate efficiently. And I think you started to build that around your team as well. I want to make sure before we wrap up here to give us a couple of pointers. What are some things we have a lot of growing entrepreneurs or leaders within the community that look up to both of us? What are some things that you wish you knew earlier? Because you're just hit 12 years. What would you tell the person that you were 12 years ago?
First and foremost, I would go to the entrepreneur centers and I would take all the free classes I could take. As a little later in life, but hey, I faithfully still take these entrepreneur classes. You
Hmm.
get in the room with people that can help you network, and
Hmm.
you get in the room that I show you how to operate better. So I would definitely invest in training. I would say I would probably hire a business coach, life coach.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can get in your own way because you don't see how to get to the next level. I will say you need to utilize your resources and
Hmm.
the basic functions, man. It took me almost 7 tries to get my website right, and you know what? Hey, I had to pay out the yin yang. Never forget, I paid 7,500 for somebody to do my website, and the website wouldn't even go mobile, and it crashed. I never got my money back. I'm like, oh my god. But I'm gonna just say, if you're in the Greensboro area, I use Zipster, and Zipster,
Hmm.
hey, for a flat fee under $1,000 for
Hmm.
years, um, they got me. They crafted me a website. So just small little nooks and little nuggets that, as a small business owner, you know what? If you're starting a business, if you don't even have the idea, go to GoDaddy, see if the name's available. Go to the Secretary of State, see if you know what somebody already has the concept of the name. Then Google that name so you can actually know if anybody else has it. If none of these things are present, you know what? Hey, that name and domain name is yours, and you can
Hmm.
start to operate. I would recommend LLC, S corp, C corp, depending
Hmm.
on how your business go,
Yes.
and whatever insurances you may need. So, I'll just say it's just small things. Don't quit. That's pretty much the biggest thing. Don't
Don't
quit.
quit, right?
You
Don't
know
quit.
that.
That's the only way you're gonna grow. The only way you fail is by actually stopping, right? As long as we keep going. So I know you and I too have talked a lot about when we talk about ACE, making sure that we, as you scale, those connections and resources, they look differently. So being that you're not no longer a startup, you're 12 years in the game. How has that scaling looked different for you when you go out and you're actually partnering? Because I see you out there all the time. You're out there probably as much as me.
So you know what, man? Great question. So right now, True Mix Masters is have a home base in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we have another base in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm duplicating myself in 2 cities. So here's one thing I learned. Um, I've I've been able to scale with multiple business clients. And so the way that I approached it in Greensboro is been the way I've approached it in Charlotte. I'm now setting up a system that each city can actually operate out of. And so I'm making it clear for everyone how this is going to go. And then I'm creating a sales team, and I'm creating a way that everybody can become salesmen within the team, and so we can just keep spreading the word, and everybody can start feeling like, hey, not only can I make money off booking the events, I can make money off actually working it too. So just creating, and just I
That's that
think
ecosystem.
you got to create, and you know what, that's the biggest thing, creating the ecosystem.
Hmm.
Vertically integrate.
You've done that. I am so, so proud of you, Quentin. We both came, like I said, from the 336, and I've seen you put in the work. You continue to put in the work. You show up. I said, what's your drink? Those your new drink cards?
And so we've created a product, the True Mix Master drink cards, and you can find them at truemixmasters.com on our drink cards. So we train people as well. So the ultimate goal and my ultimate thought was to create a ecosystem, literally, where True Mixmaster train people, put them in events, and then we use them throughout our ecosystem and my businesses. So far as like future, what we think for the future is pretty much True Mixmasters being a hospitality ecosystem. That's events, bars, hotels, academy, products. So hey, be on the lookout. I can't
We,
wait. You know, the future is now.
we know you're going to do some amazing things, Quentin. So anyone that's listening or that may listen to this, where can they find True Mix Masters and potentially get that offer that you have for the month of March for your anniversary?
Okay, if you go to www.truemixmasters.com, and you can find all our drink cards, our products, our services. As of right now, starting yesterday, we have a 12% off everything on our website in celebration of True Mixmaster turning 12. Hey man, we
Mhm.
can't wait to to connect with other business owners, connect with the public, any hospitality solutions that need to be had. If you are, let's say you're an event center and you may need bartenders. If you're a hotel, you may need extra help. We provide everything full service. We can help you out.
That's awesome. And I know that you're continuing to expand. Any specifics for like who your ideal person is that you like to work with?
And so, you know what? We're looking to make sure we do a lot of corporate events. So our corporate event planners would be probably our ideal candidate. We love doing weddings. It's a special day. So True Mix Masters love to actually bring in that special occasion. So ultimately, where we're trying to go, hey, have a flagship bars, be partner with hotels. True Mix Masters become an entity inside of a hotel.
Mhm.
Then you know what, just stayed up city to city, and doing these concepts over and over.
So proud of you, Q. And this is what ACE for Connections is all about. ACE Connect so that we can connect the right people to the right opportunities so we can expand our impact. So in a lot of our interactions that we've had, Q, tell us a little bit more because you are our first person. We're so excited that you're the first person on this platform because very well deserved. There are going to be many more after you. So what would you say to others that you think that should leverage the ACE platform
I
based on
was
the impact that you've
nothing
had?
else. Just from the time that you sat down and talked with me and say, "Hey, I want to take you under our umbrella," and you just open up your resources. It has been an experience. I've been in so many different rooms that I know personally I might not have went into. Um, we can talk about the city of Charlotte events. Coffee and breakfast and coffee conversations. It's a plethora of opportunities that's came out of this. So I would say lean in,
Mhm.
show up, and
Show up.
actually, hey, make sure not only as you show up as your authentic self, and try to see how you can engage in each conversation because you have something to add.
Exactly. You have something to add. And after you show up, I would also say, after you leave that room, you have to make sure that you're executing, right? Because it means nothing that you showed up if you don't do anything with it. So we want to say thank you so much, Quentin. I know there's so much ahead for you. Hopefully, we'll have you back because True Mix Masters is your primary gig, but we do know you do other things. There's a lot of other things that you're doing for the community. We'd love to have you come back and talk about that as well because you are definitely compounding growth in our community. So, any closing words before we close out today?
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and anybody who's listening to me and just is curious about going down this entrepreneur path. It can be rocky. You may not understand how to get to where you're going. I would say, man, try to collaborate with the right team, and
Right.
keep
That's the
your head
right
up
word.
and actually keep going. Find your why. You know what, hey man, my goal is to bring up the next leaders in hospitality. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm doing it. So
You're doing that. Just wanted to say thank you so much, Quentin. This is exactly why we created this platform, and we know we're going to be able to impact so many other people. We look forward to hearing all of your successes ahead, and we'll definitely have you back on. Okay?
thank you so
Have a
much.
great,
Y'all
have a
have a
great day.
good one.
Take
All right.
care. Bye.